But you know what Mike Tuttle told me? He said, I can't remember ever having a person dropping a policy I sold. And he said, Art, I never made a sale on the first interview. And you know what I did? I went in and I met that husband and wife, and I met their kids on the first interview, and I built a relationship, and I picked up some information, took it back, and every single time I got back after that first interview, I wrote that prospective client a letter and told them how much I enjoyed meeting them and how special a family I thought they had.
I was doing a seminar on this kind of stuff. This beautiful, gorgeous young lady raised her hand and said, could I say a word? I said, coming up, she said, do you remember me? I said, lady, I would have remembered you if I'd ever met you. You're an attractive lady. She says, no. I was 10 years old when you met me. I said, oh, really? I said, what's the deal? She said, well, you and a guy came to San Angelo to make a sales presentation to my parents. And when you got back, you wrote a really nice letter to my parents. And you also wrote a real nice letter to me and my little brother. And you knew that we were going to Six Flags, and you sent us each, I don't remember the number, $10, $20 a piece, so we could buy some souvenirs on our trip. And I said, now lady, I didn't have any money back then. She said, oh yes you do. But I started remembering the situation. What it was, I had an agent from Lubbock who was going to look at maybe doing an office over there in the little town. We went over there, made one presentation, and after that he decided he didn't want to move, decided not to do it, so we never opened an office, so he didn't talk to him about going to work. He ended up completing the sale, but I sent them a letter. Well, come to find out, the lady brought the letter the next day. She still had a copy of it. Here she was, 10 years old when she received that letter from me. And there it was, sure enough, congratulations, you got great parents, how fortunate you are, here's a little money. Now I share this because how she was at that meeting that day. Someone from Pie America was trying to recruit her dad several years earlier from that particular meeting. And he wasn't that particularly interested, but they showed him the Pie America book and had pictures of people making a lot of money. And he saw my name. He said, is that Mike Tuttle with A.L. Williams? They said, well, it was A.L. Williams. It's now known as Pie America. He says, I'm all in. He said, that guy was unbelievable, made such an impact on me and my kids. He said, my dad is now an RVP, and I've just got old enough, and I now am getting a license. Now my question is, folks, is that your kind of experience? See, this all comes out of relationship. It's long-term, it's not the quick fix.
I told Angela, I was so excited after listening to Mike, I was about to pee in my pants, you know, and that's what I needed to tell y'all this morning. The biggest weakness at Pie America is y'all ain't no good at building relationships. Some of you are, but most of you ain't worth a damn. And so I was so excited, and Angela comes back in there because she had let me down this morning, you know. She couldn't come up with nothing, you know. And she said, what you so excited about? I said, I just talked to Mike Tuttle, and he gave me the answer. And she said, well, what is it? And I told her. And I said, Angela, if Mike Tuttle was a woman, I'd marry him instead of you.
Art says, love covers a multitude of sin. Mike, if you just learn to pour your life into people, love on them. Mike, that's what you've got to learn and communicate. And I thought, for the first time, I understood why my business had exploded, and these businessmen, it didn't explode. I thought I didn't have any training for this business. The greatest training I could have had was with Campus Crusade. Every weekend I was having students at my house feeding them. Every weekend I had businessmen coming to my house, introducing them to students. Weekends I organized football every Saturday morning for my staff to play students. My wife and I took every holiday, we would take them up to Ruidoso, New Mexico and rent cabins and take these students away and pour life into them. All we ever did was build relationships with kids. And all of a sudden I got in Pie America, that's the exact thing I was doing. We were feeding people. We used to have all of our managers meetings in my house so they could get to know my wife and my kids. I went to their house. We had their families come over. We did recognition in my house every Saturday night after every fast start school, feeding them just nachos or whatever, but passing out awards just like I'd done with students. We spent so much time pouring our life. Now look at these businessmen, great guys, but you never saw them with cars in their yard. They didn't have people coming into their home. They knew how to do budgets. They knew how to give orders. They knew how to do all that other stuff that you do in business. But we were in a different kind of business. We're dealing with a volunteer group.
Would you come up here, please, Mike? Right up here. I ain't got many. I ain't gonna recognize nobody else because nobody else deserves being recognized other than you. That's 1, 2. 3, 4, 5, 6. Hey, if I was John Addison, I mean this sincerely. If I was John Addison for the next 6 months, I wouldn't ask Art Williams to speak. I wouldn't ask Rusty Crosser to speak as good as he is, or Randy Godfrey. I wouldn't let, especially you big bass shop guys that hold people back, I certainly wouldn't ask none of you to speak, you know. For the next 6 months, John Addison, I wouldn't have nobody speak but this man. Honestly, I'd have him every Monday on Monday morning TV. I'd have him speak at every super seminar, every RVP meeting. And if your little finger, if you were half as good as Mike Tuttle, just in your little finger as he is, you'd be a superstar. But I do have to tell you, Mike, with that belly and those legs, you wouldn't be a good wife, I tell you that right now.